Get Unstuck Nation. Today, I have a very interesting guest who is a friend of mine for a while, and I have seen his work all over the new feed, and I'm like, I have to interview him because the way he presents his video, the way he explain about how he works, though very interesting. So please welcome Scott Whitney with me today. He's the owner and executive producer of Whitney Media Production. And yeah, he helps marketing, doing videos, small business doing video, or even settlement video for attorney. We will get to that, how the difference. So thank you so much, Scott, for joining Get Unstuck Radio today.
Thank you, Mutita. This is going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. So I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm just like DM you and then, hey, please join my podcast because I really want to speak with you.
No doubt. And here we are.
So before we get there to what you are doing this day, can you tell me how you started your entrepreneur journey?
Oh my gosh. How did that start? So I have been in this video production industry, my entire life. My entire adult life, my entire, adult career. I didn't start out as a cameraman when I was like 5 years old or a video producer, So, So when I got into, college, I was just kind of interested in something that was going to be creative. I wasn't sure exactly what that was going to be. I thought about, writing. I thought about, like journalism. I thought about, being an author. But I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something where, I would create. And so I got enrolled in like video production classes, and I thought, this is pretty interesting. And I was also like on the college radio station. But so I started along my journey where, it was kind of traditional. I worked at a television station for like 4 years. I worked at a corporate facility producing like corporate videos for another company after that for like 4 or 5 years. And then like 9 or 10 years into doing what I was doing, I kind of felt burnt out. And I was living in Florida, and I decided, what can I do that will really kind of, spark my batteries and kind of recharge things. And so I moved to New York. And I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in New York. And I got enrolled in some film classes. And I just lived in the city for, like a year, and worked on some music videos. And so that was a kind of a great experience to just kind of recharge me and kind of get me in a different, direction. And so the following year, I moved back to my hometown, Orlando, Florida. And from that point on, I heard people saying, I work in a freelance capacity, as a freelance writer or as a freelance, whatever. And I thought, there's no reason why I can't try that or, do that. And so, I started down that road where I was like a freelance camera operator for a number of years, and like a freelance video editor. And I was doing a lot of work for like corporations and stuff. But probably, maybe another 10 or 12 years into that, I thought, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to stop working for, like this. It was a bank that I was doing a lot of videos for. I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to work with all kinds of different like small businesses, nonprofits and stuff like that. And that's where I really kind of felt like I found my, niche, where I could work with a lot of different businesses that had all kinds of different objectives and goals. And, like my first 2 years of doing that were very tough. and that was in 2010 when I started that. And it's just like you just every year you make more contacts, you meet more people, you do better work than the year before, you learn things about like your business, you learn things about yourself, what you're some of the things that you're good at, other things that maybe you're not so great at. And so like this year, this year's my best year ever. And I just I'm happy. I attribute it to a lot of good fortune. I attribute it to doing good work, treating people the way that they need to be treated. I mean, it's just so many combination of things, and my own faith too. It's like everything just kind of comes together.
Yeah, I believe also that time will tell. Like sometimes that like we can look ahead though, but we not really know what is coming.
Very true. Very true. It's like, I mean, I went through some difficult times, and it's no cliche. It's like those things, you'll either learn from it, or you can retreat. And everybody's journey is different. So you don't have to consider yourself a success if you want to work for I mean, you don't have to think any less of yourself if like this journey doesn't work out and you work for a business or a company. It's just being happy within. That's the whole key to life. Whether you find that happiness working for yourself, or working for another business or company that you respect. But yeah, you learn so much about yourself along the way, and I love it. Every day is something new.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like the more I work with others, the more I find myself. Like I know more about myself, that this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I'm good at, and this is not actually something I thought I good, I wasn't. So yeah, I mean, this is something that I discovered recently as well. The further the life, along with the further the business, they always come up with different set of problems. And without you having been through that, you may not see the path moving forward, like what's supposed to be going, or would be easier, or expected to be something like that. Like these are something that out of our control, right?
Yeah. I mean, like in business, and I haven't always, I mean, I guess I've considered myself as, more of a creative, and not necessarily like a, business person. But, you really need to think about, being a business person. You have to learn, you have to go through different courses to kind of build that area up if you think of yourself as strictly, a creative. And I think it's a combination of things as far as kind of building some of that acumen, and then also just recognizing when you are in business, and you're dealing with new clients or whatever. It's like you got to be able to recognize the red flags. You got to recognize different warning signs that it's like, okay, this doesn't compute, and this is kind of putting a bad feeling in my gut. So a lot of times it's kind of trusting your instincts, where it's like, okay, this isn't a client that I really want to work with, or this industry isn't necessarily a good fit for me. And you learn those things along the way too. And I'm fortunate. It's like I think most of the clients that we work with, just have just amazing relationships with. But even every now and then, every now and then there's a client that will come up and it's like, yeah, I mean, you just kind of feel it from the very beginning. And again, I consider myself blessed that, I don't really run into those situations a whole lot, but when they do, it's like you just have to adapt, and you have to kind of figure out, if this is somebody that you actually want to work with.
So you mentioned that you consider yourself as more creative person. So if anyone listening here right now and they are like, okay, I'm creative too. I'm like designer, brand designer, or like the part that is like more crafting. How can they like feeling confident with themselves that should we start as freelancers or should we start as like just selling our service?
Yeah. I think it all really starts, with relationships. I mean, that's where it all starts with. It's like, we can love our work, but if we're not meeting people, people aren't going to find out, about us. So, we have to get out in the community. I think some of the things that that I would probably tell, a young Scott Whitney, somebody that was just, like getting started. It's like, dude, you gotta get out in your community. You gotta meet people. So whether that means, joining, a chamber of commerce or some other group that may resonate with you. I mean, even if try to figure out what your interests are and see how you can kind of tie that in. I mean, your outside interests opposed to just whether you're a graphic designer or whatever. What is it? What's going on in the community that's important to you? And if you find something important, get out there and try to make a difference. And in the process, you can talk to people as far as, oh yeah, I'm a graphic designer, I create logos, I do, websites, I do whatever, I do video. So it's like the more connections that we all have, it's like, this connection will lead this way. And then it's like, it's this big web, it's just like this big web of people that you meet, in your network. And it doesn't have to be awkward. I wouldn't recommend, passing out, as many cards as you possibly can. It's like meet people organically, treat people right, help people, try to give before you get. So, these are all things that are super important. I remember a conversation maybe like, I don't know, 25 years ago. And I was talking with somebody and they were telling me, you got to get your own clients. I said, oh, get my own clients. Why do I need that? I just want to do some work, another production company or another, whatever can hire me. But that was like some of the most useful advice that somebody they were trying to give me. And I thought that it was just like ludicrous at the time, but yeah, relationships are the lifeblood, of our businesses. So we have to get out and meet people organically, authentically, and just, show how, we can help another business, but, just do that with generosity in your heart.
So it's come back to why you chose video to be the vehicle for you to show your work to the world or making impact.
Yeah, why did I? I think it is just the way I felt comfortable about expressing myself. I thought that I could do it, through the lens of a camera. There's so many different things that, I was interested in. And I wasn't quite sure as far as, how I could make a living, like writing. there's plenty of ways, there's plenty of ways to, live, well, and, if you're a good writer, but I just wasn't quite sure, of that path. And it made more sense as far as, okay, I can do video, I can work at a television station, and actually I also had another influence, my older brother, and there's a number of years that separate us, but I have two brothers and I have two sisters, and my oldest brother, who's like 13 years older than me, he worked in the broadcast industry. And so although I wasn't around him all that much, growing up, I thought, that's something that looks kind of interesting that, I think that, I could do. His path was much different than mine, where he worked for a business for whatever, 30 or 35 years. And I knew that I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something totally different.
So when you think about video, what is the first thing in your mind?
When I think about video, I think about the moments that you can build in a video that will resonate, with your audience. I think that, and it depends on the type of video that you are creating. But video should reach the viewer, just that one person that that this business needs to connect with, whether it's a customer or a donor or whatever. It needs to connect with them on a logical level, and it needs to connect with them on an emotional level, where you get some kind of reaction from them, and they can learn something along the way. But yeah, I mean, getting back to what I said, if we are producing a video for a nonprofit, then, and anytime that you are asking somebody for money, you better make them feel something. So if, and that is the power, that is the very unique power of video, where you can create something, and you can create these powerful moments, through somebody just opening up, their heart, where they're talking about, like in the case of one of our clients, we just did a project about human trafficking, and I was 5 feet away, interviewing a woman that was trafficked for a good part of her life. And I mean, she talked about just how horrible, of an experience that was, and everything that she went through. It's just like, just these unimaginable, things. But that was her life. And so, it's like when I'm interviewing somebody, you've got to show empathy for their story. You've got to show that, you care, so that somebody feels comfortable enough to be vulnerable and to open up. And when you can collect that, and then you add like music in, or, you show some, some other, another cinematic, shot, something that's just, moving. You put all these elements together, and that is going to create something that is going to make people feel in their heart, that they need. They're watching this one person, and they're experiencing, that's what video does. It takes you inside somebody's world, because we can't experience it ourselves. We're not at this matrix level. We're getting closer and closer and closer, But that's what video does. It takes you inside this world so that you can feel it and experience it. And it creates it creates a call to action.
This episode is sponsored by Mutita clothing, like what I'm wearing right here. So if you are a petty sized lady who are looking for high quality apparels as well as a neat cutting and premium pattern, check it out at mutitaclothing.com so that you can be simply elegant by no time. Let's get back to the episode. Yeah, like in many, let's say that in case anyone watching any advertisement and they not even understand the language, but you can feel that, like I get what you mean, like you can feel that. I even cry one of the advertisement in French, even I'm not even know French, but like I can feel that. So that's really makes sense. Do you mentioned about creating the moments and everything to give the audience experience and engage with it. So how authentic that has to be? Why authenticity is very matters in work in creating this video?
Are you saying how often does it happen?
As in the story itself.
Yeah.
As in the impact that the, let's say, the storyteller walk us through the way, or the plot itself.
Yeah.
Does the audience know the difference of making it and the real stuff?
Yeah, so I would say this, and I think our specialty is more based on like documentary stuff, in terms of I would say by and large, like 95% of the projects that we produce are documentary, style, where this is the real deal. This is somebody's life. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just asking though, because I'm just like interesting that and how it leads you to do the settlement victims in the
yeah. I mean, it's really it goes hand in hand. It's kind of the same kind of work. So yeah. So it's like I got introduced to this probably about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, where a family friend had recommended me to a personal injury attorney in the state. And so he was dealing, so this attorney had a really he had a case where, I mean, it was a real tragedy. It was a couple, and it was a Friday night, and they had gone out, they'd had dinner, had seen a movie. They were coming back home, just an innocent Friday night, just spending some time together. They came home, and a drunk driver went through a red light going 55 miles an hour and crashed into their vehicle, killing the wife. And so it's like, I mean, the person that did this, it became a huge ordeal, because it was like a wrongful death case. And it's like the attorney is trying to represent the victim, whose spouse has died, and on the other side is, it's just unfortunate. It's, first off, it's unfortunate that any of this has to happen, as far as just a death being involved and stuff like that. But you got the attorney, you got the insurance company, and it's like they're trying to they're trying to reach some type of, settlement. And, there's no amount of money that is going to ever rectify something like this, because, these people, they probably had 30 more years of their life, to live. And they were happily married, and they had been, married for like 20 years. And so the attorney wanted to tell that story through a video, and so that he could present to the insurance company, look, this is how this person's life has been impacted. This is what this other person meant to their spouse. So so I went and I interviewed the spouse, and they just talked about how everything, how much this other person meant. And we told that through interviews. We told that through all of the different cards that had been exchanged, where they actually, they kept all the birthday cards, Valentine cards for like 25 years, and love letters. So so we created a video, and then that led to a $2.25 million settlement. And again, no amount of money is ever going to bring that person back to life. It just isn't. It might, and this person was injured in the accident as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that money is going to help them, with different things, through the rest of their life. But yeah, and so that led to another case with another client, and just so we've been doing a lot of those because we've been helping people. And just this year, we've worked on like 4 of those for very, very, very significant cases where people died or people were seriously injured, in an accident. We worked with just this one woman. She lives in New Jersey, and we did a Zoom interview with her. She's like 25, and her life is never going to be the same again, because it's just terrible. It's like she needs help every day just to get out of bed. She needs help every day to get to the bathroom. She needs help getting in the shower. It's like her life is never going to be the same. So, we needed to, create a video to tell her story. So it's really, really powerful stuff.
Yeah. I'm chilling. My doctor's sitting here listening to you saying this story.
And let me just interject something. I think it's easy. It's easy for all of us to have, when we hear about attorneys or lawyers, it's just like everybody kind of goes back to these, the old lawyer jokes and stuff like that. Everybody, we're always going to have like some kind of, stereotypes that go on, inside our heads. But it's like all the ones that I work on, it's like these people are really, really dealing with significant things that have made their life totally different. So it's like, I consider it an honor. It's a terrible thing to have to do, but it's actually, it's an honor for me to go and find out a little bit about this person, and just to try to share and present the things that they are going through.
Yeah. If I were you, it would be hard. How do you not take it personal?
It's extremely hard.
How can you not take it personal?
It is personal. It's like, and when I'm editing these things, it's like, I mean, I may have watched a clip 30 or 35 times, you know, but I'm trying to get things exactly right. And these are projects that I don't necessarily want to outsource, because I feel like I have to be the person to share this story, because I was in the room interviewing them. I don't want to just pass it off, you know. But if I've been watching something, you know, numerous times, and I'm still feeling something, it's like, okay, I know that this is going to do the job. I know that this is going to do the job.
Yeah. Wow. I think this is a skill that, like, I mean, I have never experienced like those who doing documentaries, maybe one, but like not in terms of like people life in particular. But I think it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very emotional. It's draining.
Mhm.
It's draining. And I don't, so I don't know if I could be invested in this, you know, like every day. I think it works for me where I have still a good mix. You know, my company has a good mix of projects where we can do marketing videos, you know, we can do a video for a nonprofit, you know, we can do a training video, and we can do, you know, these projects. These are definitely have, you know, we've been doing more of them. I don't know if I could do them week in, week out.
Yeah. You need to have that boundary to like recovery as well. Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
gonna be deep, and then you can go rabbit hole with that. That's the thing. Like, yeah. So okay, let's step back. Um, does each project of video starting the same way? Like how you like for marketing, for the training, or for NGO, like your working process, are you starting doing the same way?
I think everything starts, you know, no matter what the project is, everything starts with a discovery session, where, you know, I'm either in a Zoom session or I'm in person with somebody, where I can really find out, yeah, more about them, you know, or if it's a company owner or a marketing director, or, you know, an attorney. I just want to have a broader understanding of what is going on, so I can process that and then talk to them, you know, in that meeting, as far as, okay, so this is a problem, you know, how can we, you know, how can we fix it? Because that's what video does. I mean, in a nutshell, video solves problems. It's not just a matter of creating something pretty and dressing it up, getting it out the door. Uh, Video should be produced to solve a problem. And so whether that's a marketing video, okay, so, you know, what does this company need to accomplish? You know, what are the set of objectives? What's going on? So, you know, I just try to learn more about them, you know, the things that they're encountering. And the same like with, you know, like training, you know, I mean, what's going on within that company that they need this. And so and that's the thing that I also love about video, is just it's a collaborative, you know, it's very collaborative. And I love working with, you know, businesses where it's like, you know, I can help them, or I can help, you know, an HR director, you know, solve a problem. But I love that give and take, where I can learn, we can kind of put our heads together And then from there, so that's always going to be the very first step. And then from there, it might be a matter of, okay, who am I going to work with? What kind of crew do I need to bring in? Generally it's a kind of a small crew, but, figuring out who's going to be best suited, out of, like, say, my camera operators and, technicians and stuff, who's going to be best suited to this particular project? Or am I going to be shooting this just myself? And I mean, sometimes that happens. And then it's a matter of, so if I know, okay, this is the message that we want to deliver. So it's either going to be if I know that we're going to be interviewing, if it's, say, like a brand video for a company, and I know we're going to be interviewing like 3 or 4 strategic people within the business to, deliver that content, authentically, then I'm going to start to craft questions where when we are shooting and we are, interviewing people for this brand video, I know what we want to deliver. So I'm going to create the questions that's going to get that content out. Yeah. So that is always going to be something that is going to happen in what we call pre-production. So, you got your discovery session, you got, your pre-production after that, where you're trying to figure out who your crew is. You're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to strategically deliver, that message? So, it's just a matter of kind of crafting questions. And then we go into, production. Yeah. So that's generally the start.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, I mean, I love this industry so much, but I think it's like something that the more I know about this industry, like there are more things to learn. Like everything changed like on daily basis, like new ideas, new techniques. I can do nothing in that industry, but I just like watching YouTube and knowing these people because I think they are very sharp. The way you guys capture the moment are like something beyond like my level of understanding. Like many of my friends who are great photographer, they already have the scene in their head to capture it, right? So I can't do that.
I think the thing that I love about interviews, and I would consider that's where one of our specialties in terms of like interviewing people. And the thing that I love about it is I may have in my head, I may think that I know, how they might answer it, but I'm always surprised. I'm always surprised. And I tell you what, I'm glad when I'm surprised, because generally the things that somebody says is going to be much better than anything that could possibly be written. It just is. I mean, because real life is real life,
Yeah.
And so that's what, and everybody kind of puts their spin on it. I mean, whether, I might be talking to somebody that renovates high-end kitchens, and I can find out, why they did it. And then, they might start talking about, growing up in New York with, around a, Italian family, and, smelling their mom's cooking and their grandmother's cooking, and the things that they did on Sundays, and like in anticipation of the meal. That's good stuff. And that happened. So that just makes the story, that much more appealing. And the thing about video is, you hear it time in and time out, but it's true. It's like, we want to do business with people that we know, like, and trust. And so what better way to get somebody to know, like, or trust somebody rather than to find out, more about them and, why they love doing what they do.
Yeah. So in case anyone want to follow your work, Scott, or like work with you, where can they reach out to you then?
So I would say, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I love being followed. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn. So my personal profile is Scott Whitney. So just and you'll see. I think I have small business brand expert. I'm not sure what my headline is this month. It changes. And then, or you can follow our company, Whitney Media Productions. We're on, that's on LinkedIn as well. You can go to our website, whitneymedia.tv. That's, a good way. You can email me if you want. And all my contact information is, on the website. We're on Facebook, but yeah, I mean, look for me on LinkedIn, and I'd love to connect with anybody that's watching on LinkedIn.
If anyone listening until now and thinking that, hey, you want a video to solve some of your solution, don't forget to check out Scott Whitney. So thank you so much for joining Get Unstuck Radio today, Scott.
Thank you, Mutita. I appreciate this. Has been a real honor. I'd love chatting with you.
I appreciate you. Hey, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe here or here. And this is the previous episode. Check it out. See you next time.